Alright guys, we are here today with a Dominaria draft, and the reason I'm doing this is mainly because I just wanted to get in one more Dominaria draft before the end of the format here in about a week and a half. I've had a lot of fun with this format, it's been really great, so I just wanted to get one more in and make sure I had the chance to try this one last time. Now looking at our rare, we have the Antiquities War, a saga that really plays into some artifact cards, that has a big payoff, making them all swing in 5/5s, and it's kind of a build-around card for sure, right? Like you have to have a lot of good artifacts, and sometimes those artifacts aren't going to be great. We also have a Danitha here, a Knight of Malice, and a Tachiova. And a Llanowar Elves, it's just a solid card as well. I'm inclined to take the Danitha just because it's a solid all-around card. There's some very playable equipment in this set, and some auras that I'm okay with. I know auras aren't exactly the best thing in Limited because you can get 2 for 1 pretty easily, but I do like the card a lot. Knight of Malice and Tachiova are close. Tachiova is an amazing card, but being multicolored, I'd rather just take Danitha here. Now, in our second pack, we do have a Vicious Offering. That's probably the best card in the pack. Yeah, I mean, just absolutely, hands down. I'm going to be honest and say this pack doesn't have a lot to it. Yeah, like these are not exciting uncommons. It's not an exciting rare. I'm going to take Vicious Offering here. White and black make a pretty solid pair, so we'll hope to get something good in there. And looking at this, we do have some good cards. Dark Bargain is a solid card, not bad at all. The Trapper here, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the first word, is a pretty decent card if you can get some historic spells. I've seen it be very good. Llanowar Elves, just an amazing card. It really kind of makes me want to look at that possible green aspect, and then Short Sword as well. So Llanowar Elves still being in the pack I don't think is a huge sign. I mean, it is a common, but a common and an uncommon was taken from this pack over it. I think I'm going to take the Elves and possibly look into green as opposed to one of these other colors, because I think it's just a very solid card. I think the Trapper is my second choice here. The Druid's honestly not bad either. The Druid's not bad at all, but I'll take the Elves. Here we have some more good cards in our white and black colors primarily. Gideon's Reproach is a pretty solid removal spell. The Pegasus Courser is all around solid just if you have some other value creatures. And I do not mind Thallid Omnivore at all, but it really does work better in a black-green deck. Looking at the cards I have already picked, I think it's... I don't actually know what color it is I'm most likely to play. I think all of these are pretty reasonably the same level. But just the cards in this pack, I actually like Pegasus Courser the most, I think. This card has done the most for me in the past. That may be a controversial pick, but that's what I'm going to go with. Now here I have a couple of great options as well. We have Gideon's Reproach. Again, I mentioned I love that card. And then Jousting Lance. And with Danitha, Jousting Lance is just so good, right? I mean, maybe not so good, but very good. It costs 1 less, so it's only 1 to put on the field. And you put that on her, you know, you're just getting a lot of lifelink, a lot of vigilance, a lot of things like that. So, I think I'm going to take the shocking pick here and take the Jousting Lance. Go for the equipment over the removal. That very well may not be the correct call, but I'm going to try it. Not a lot of great cards here. I mean, obviously a ton of red. Red looks like it could very well be an open color, but none of these red cards are actually good. They're all filler at best, really. So I'm going to take this Chainer's Torment. It's not an awful card, and it is in one of my colors here. Time of Ice is a good card, but obviously not something that fits in my deck at all right now, being blue. Knight of Benalia is not very exciting on its own, but does pair pretty well with Pegasus Courser and even Jousting Lance, and I think it's going to be the pickup here. Now here's another Jousting Lance and a Serra Disciple. Serra Disciple has been far from an impressive card for me. So I think I just am going to go with the second Jousting Lance. This definitely does make me wish I would have taken one of those Reproaches earlier. And here I am going to grab a Dark Bargain. This is, in my opinion, just a premium draw spell if you're in black. So I'm going to keep that. I'll take this board, the Weatherlight, though I highly doubt I play it. I'd have to really up my just historic count in general to be interested in playing that. Yeah, I'll grab the Honor Guard here as just a creature, but not anything at all that I'm very excited to play. Even if I had a lot of legends, I still don't think Banalish Honor Guard is actually that good of a card. The Voltaic Servant that I don't think I will play, yeah, that only untaps artifacts, so I'd have to get into something pretty good there. I'll take the Frenzied Rage just because it fits the aura thing, and I don't have any plan to play a Drudge Sentinel. As far as auras go, I actually have kind of liked Frenzied Rage. I don't think there's been anything wrong with it per se. Alright, so we're going to start pack 2 here. Let's see what our rare is. Let's hope it's a big bomb. Gilded Lotus is not, it is not, but wow, those are 4 amazing cards at the uncommon slot. Like Quinde, Arvad, On Sarah's Wings, Triumph of Gerard, every one of those is solid. We also have a Skittering Surveyor in this pack, a Call the Cavalry. This pack is loaded with good cards. Gilded Lotus also a great card, like not bad at all. Now the question here is whether Arvad or Quinde is actually better. Quinde offers double strike to all my creatures that have first strike, and with 2 Jousting Lances, this Danitha in here, Quinde actually looks like it could be the right call. On Sarah's Wings, also just insanely strong. Maybe that's the right call. You know, I don't actually know here, and On Sarah's Wings actually gets cheaper with Danitha in hand. So I am going to, I think, oh goodness, I'm going to take the Quinde. I think it has the most synergy with my deck, and hope that one of those others wheels, but that was just such a strong pack, and I don't know, I hope I made a at least acceptable choice there and didn't just make the wrong choice. Haphazard Bombardment, that has actually turned out to be a really cool card. Championing the Flame is awesome, but just so easily you get blown out by it. I'm going to be taking the Pegasus Courser here. Just definitely, I like the first one. It does what I want. It gets things in the air. Always a fan of that. Now we have a couple good options here. Juggernaut is a solid card. I've always been a fan of Juggernaut. I think it's very good. Skittering Surveyor, which is coming very late in the pack, and then a Stronghold Confessor, which I have I was a little bit bigger on back at the beginning of the format, and I've kind of tamed myself down a little bit on it, but this is still a very solid card. I think the Skittering Surveyor is the pickup here, though. It is just too high of an upside card, especially if I have something I end up wanting to splash. Not this Elves, of course, that's getting relegated to the sideboard. But if I find some big bomb in the third pack I need to splash, or I just want to fix my mana a little bit, get that black mana, because it is looking like it might just be a splash at this point. This Skittering Surveyor looks good. Yeah, I mean, the Juggernaut's an awesome target for the Jousting Lance, though. I'm going to take the Juggernaut here. Being 2 colors, I'm going to take the Juggernaut. Again, looking at some of these synergies I have, I kind of like that. Now, the question is a third Jousting Lance too much? Yes, a third Jousting Lance is too much. I really shouldn't do that. I should be more reasonable about how I go here. Now, the Thallid Omnivore is not a bad card to grab. I like it. I don't really think there's anything else in the pack that I would consider taking over it. Again, like, I want to take that third Jousting Lance, but I know that's not the right call, so I'm going to grab this Thallid Omnivore. Here we have a couple of interesting options. Deathbloom Thallid is not bad at all. Knight of New Benalia works well with these Pegasus Coursers. It's a solid 2-drop in my deck. Yargle is, it sounds fun, but not what I want to take. And then Lingering Phantom is also not bad. I right now have 5 historic spells. I'm probably going to have maybe a little bit more than that. And it just lets me keep bouncing it back. I think, though, I'm going to try to make the right decision for my curve and take the Death Bloom Thallid. I think that's just the best card here for me. Wow, that is a late Adelies. That is a shockingly late Adelies. And Academy Journey Mage. Like, Red-Blue Wizards looks wide open just based on this pack. I don't actually think there's anything in this pack that I would, or even can play. Like, I don't like Urza's Tome. I don't want to be playing a Partick Wanderer. Not playing the Adelies, but yeah, I almost want to take it. I'll take the Partick Wanderer. Okay, so in this pack we are looking at Dread Sentinel, Charge. There's no way I go into red as much as this works with some of what I have, so I'll take the Charge and be a little disappointed with it. I have played it in my decks occasionally, and it's not a awful card. Like, it's worked out well for me, so I could definitely see running it as a one of. Wow, that is a late Goblin Barrage. There's probably the makings of a maybe a decent red deck in here, but that is a shockingly late Goblin Barrage. I'm going to just take the Knight of New Benalia here, get another 2-drop, another good target for my Jousting Lance. Here I'll take well, I have the Short Sword and the Windgrace Acolyte. And I think Windgrace Acolyte's the right call. Just a big 5-drop, does a couple nice things for me. I'll take the Drudge Sentinel, even though I don't see any chance I play it. Same with the Final Parting. Yet no one at this table seems to be drafting red at all. Notably, I did not get it back any of those really cool uncommons in that first pack I opened. The Arvad, the Triumph of Gerard, the Onsera's Wings. Not that I really expected to, being as high power level as they are, but gosh, that would have been cool, right? Alright, there is another Quinde, which hurts a little bit to see, knowing that I picked some other cards over him, but I still may take him. He's not a bad card. I feel like he's better than anything else I'm looking at in this pack. He's better than Windgrace Acolyte. Yawgmoth's Vile Offering is not actually that good, and I think there's a pretty decent chance something like that actually may wheel. And a third Pegasus Courser doesn't seem like what I'm wanting to do. Two of those seem good enough. So I'll take this second Quinde a little bit begrudgingly. In this pack, I'm probably looking at the Trapper. Like, there's no reasonable black cards in the pack. And again, this just seems not good at all. So yeah, I'll take the Trapper here. Oh, wow, another Danitha. That is, quite honestly, phenomenal here. Going to be slamming that Danitha. And a Evra? Wow. Okay, I am getting lucky with some picks. Like, how does this go? What is this, like the 4th pick of this pack? How is this not picked up yet? This is amazing. Heck yeah. That is an exciting card to see right here. Never actually got to play with this card, but I've always wanted to. It just seems like so much fun. So many broken little things you can do with this thing. Here, there's not a ton for me. I don't think I want to be playing Dub. Like, even at 2 mana with the Danithas, I don't think Dub is... It's not awful. Not by any means. It also works with Quinde a little bit. I guess it's something I would rather play than Charge. Sparring Construct is not actually good. So I'll take the Dub here. Very likely not play it, but cut Charge in place of it. And that's a late Merfolk Trickster. I'll take the Short Sword. Not sure it's something I would play, but with the 2 Danithas, it actually seems kind of tempting. I do still probably need 1 to 2 more playables here. I suppose I could play Board the Weatherlight, having 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do I have 9 historic cards here? 10 with Chainer's Torment? Board the Weatherlight doesn't actually seem awful. It could get me any of my legendaries here. It could grab me just one of these equipments if I need it. I'll be pretty happy to take the Lingering Phantom here. Again, so late for that Cloud Reader Sphinx. What is going on in this draft? But I'll take this Lingering Phantom. That seems alright. And here, that would have been a cool card to see earlier in this draft. That pairs with Danitha very nicely. But I don't have anything I'm going to play here, I don't think. I'll just grab a Damping Sphere. Mostly just for sideboarding and Modern, because I don't have anything else I'm going to play from that pack. I'll take a Divest for the sideboard. One thing you'll notice my deck is very light on is removal. I have this Vicious Offering, and that's literally it. I have nothing else on that front. Never actually found any more Gideon's Reproaches, which I probably should have taken a little bit earlier. Never found any Eviscerates, any more Vicious Offerings, Blessed Lights. So really no removal here, hoping just to be able to outrace my opponents, I guess. I'll take this Legendary Sorcery. Not gonna play it. I can't fathom that I would even sideboard it in. But maybe, just maybe, there will be that one game. Alright, nothing much here. I can take another 2-drop. That's actually not awful. I am a little low on 2-mana creatures, so I could take it and cut something else from the deck. What would I cut? I actually have one of these over in my graveyard, or my sideboard, didn't realize that. So I probably want to make 2 cuts here. I think the Short Sword is definitely a card I can cut. And then, how good is Chainer's Torment? I don't actually know if that card's any good. I want to say it's okay, but I have no idea. What is my worst card? Thallid Omnivore doesn't seem amazing here, but I do think it offers some crazy stuff that could happen on board. So I think it's worth keeping. Dub maybe is just my worst card. Yeah, I think it might be Dub. Maybe one of these Knight of New Benalias. I'm going to cut the Chainer's Torment. I think I have enough other cards at the 4-drop slot, and this card isn't just amazing. I mean, it is one of my historic triggers for Trapper, but I have enough others that I feel okay with that. So we'll add some lands in here. 12 to 5 seems a little low. I mean, I guess I don't actually have that many black cards, but I'll make it more like 11-6, maybe even 10-7. I feel a little bit better at 10-7, just making sure I can actually find a swamp, and then 10 planes is still a pretty significant amount, so I'll do that, save the deck, and we're going to go into our first game here. I don't feel amazing about the deck, but I don't think it's the worst deck I've ever drafted. I think it has some good synergies in it. It's got some good potential. I think it may be a little bit heavy on the costs. That's my concern, is I'm going to get a bunch of little things out on the field, but without much removal, and, you know, kind of buying in a little bit on these Jousting Lances and some of the First Strike synergies. I don't know, if we can tempo out, I'll be pretty happy. Alright, getting our match started here. We are going to be on the play, fantastic. And this hand looks good. Turn 2, Knight of Dominaria. Turn 3, Danitha. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And then, I mean, having Death Bloom and Vicious Offering to back everything up just seems good. Alright, my opponent playing a forest. Ooh, Jousting Lance. I will wait to play that after Danitha, just so I can have some creatures on the board, start attacking in if they don't get anything out. And the Jousting Lance will be a little bit cheaper on turn 4. Turn 4 I can actually play it and equip it before attack, so that'll be pretty cool. Presuming I draw another land, I should say. Alright, there's my other land. Drawn into all my swamps, but that is not a big deal in the slightest. Alright, my opponent pausing on entering combat, wondering if they have, like, I don't know, maybe like a blink of an eye or something like that, I guess, that they may want to do some little combat tricks with. Or they could just have that stop set up there on every match they play. Alright, Krosan Druid, that is fine, because I am going to suit up something here with this Jousting Lance and be just super excited about it. I will be putting it on the Danitha. Now the thing with putting it on the Danitha is going to make her a 4/2 with First Strike, and then I'll be able to attack him with the Knight as well. Now, of course, the Knight's not going to have First Strike, but the Knight will be able to trade with these, and I feel like that's just a fair trade. I'm trading up. I have more creatures to play next turn. I actually have my 1 removal spell in hand. This gets me some of the lifelink. This has the Vigilance. This I think is just the higher value play overall. And unfortunately, with her being a 2/2, she can't actually kill this Druid, so there's no real excitement in, or not excitement, I should say, no real way to attack with her. Alright, so I'm going to enter combat. We're going to smash in with both of these gals, I guess I should say. I think this is a girl, right? Looks like it. Alright, yeah, so they're going to trade with the Knight. That's fine. And I'll pass my turn. Alright, so we're going to see Eviscerate on Danitha. That's okay. I'll be able to bring in the Death Bloom Thallid next turn, be able to suit it up with the Jousting Lance after that. Oh wow, another Danitha. That is good. Okay, so I'll play the other Danitha and then hold up Vicious Offering. It's possible the Thallid was actually the right call there, but just if they had another removal spell, or it would have dealt 1 more damage on attacking in the next turn. I think this is still fine. Oh wow, another Jousting Lance. Okay. We're going to equip her. Then we'll attack. If they have something crazy going on, we do have the Vicious Offering to play on it and not kill it, but like, I'm thinking if they have like whatever it is, like the Giant Growth thing. So any sort of combat trick here, but they do not. So I think I go ahead and play the other Jousting Lance here, just to maximize the use of my mana and to be able to play Death Bloom next turn and the Vicious Offering, or just double equip Danitha if I feel the need to. Opponent really thinking about what to do here. Alright, 6 mana. Ooh, Muldrotha. Wow, now that is a card. Okay, we may be able to do some Vicious Offering shenanigans with it next turn. Okay. Now, they can only play permanents. I actually thought this was one of each type of card, but it's just one permanent card. So they cannot play the Eviscerate, so that's very good for me. Like the Krosan Druid, obviously, I don't want to see them play something from their graveyard, but being able to not get that Eviscerate, definitely better. Board the Weatherlight, not bad. Let me play the Death Bloom Thallid. I'm trying to actually see the best way to go about making sure Danitha actually can't die in combat here. Because if I play the Thallid and hold up the Offering, well, no, they're tapped out. Yeah, I'm going to play the Thallid. I was worried they were just going to sack the Muldrotha to the Omnivore if I use Vicious Offering on it, but without any mana up, they can't actually do that. So I'll just attack in here with Danitha. I'm sure they'll know something is up, but we'll see. And if I need to sack the Thallid to the Offering, I absolutely can do that. Okay, so they're just making the safe block with the Omnivore. We are accepting of that. And I could play Board the Weatherlight here. I feel pretty comfortable with where I'm at, so I think that actually might be the right call. Yeah, I think so. And I completely whiffed. I have like 8, 9 targets in my deck for it, so I was hoping not to whiff on 5 cards. Like statistically, I shouldn't whiff on 5 cards. But that's how it goes. Got punished for doing that there, for trying to be a little bit greedy, but oh well. Alright, so we're probably going to see the Krosan Druid out of the graveyard here. No, wow, jeez. Blackblade Reforged. That they are going to be able to put on that Muldrotha. Oh my goodness. Okay. That is scary. So this is going to be, what, +8? +7? 13, 13. Alright. Well, that is bad. What do we do here? Because even if I put the Jousting Lance on Danitha, take her to 6, -5 is still an 8/8. So that won't work. I think my best bet is just to kind of spam the board with some creatures and try to go wide here in a turn or two, I think. Alright, opponent attacking with the Muldrotha here, which I find a little bit shocking, but I am very okay with. No blocks. 14-14 is fine. I'm at 32 life. This is a-okay. Now, I know they're going to probably play either the Krosan Druid or the Omnivore from their graveyard here, so they're going to have two creatures on board, but with a Vicious Offering in hand, I may actually be able to clear the way for a pretty solid chunk of damage. Well, they're tapping 8 mana again, so that can't be great. Oh, they're kicking the Krosan Druid. Yeah, that makes sense. Didn't even think of that. Okay. That is definitely not putting the life swing in my favor. Wow, I did not expect that Black Blade Reforged. That is just very bad for me. I don't even think I can play the Vicious Offering here. Alright, there's a knight. We can go ahead and put this Jousting Lance on something. Attacking with the Danitha is perfectly safe, and I actually put the Jousting Lance on her, I guess, just to get that little extra bit of lifelink in. Get my life up as high as possible. They presumably will chump to her. Alright, blocking with the Krosan Druid as expected, but they can just keep kicking this every turn, can't they? They just block with the Krosan Druid, kick the Krosan Druid the following turn with Muldrotha's effect, gain 10. So I'm going to need to find some greater way out of this, which is maybe just like top decking into a Quinde. I don't think I'm necessarily out of this game. Like, I'm obviously not in a good spot, but I don't believe I'm out, per se. Alright, swinging in again with the Muldrotha. I could take it and go to 9 if I wanted. If I did... No. I definitely need to block this. I will throw the Knight in front of it. I guess I could throw the Deathbloom Thallid in front of it. That seems better. Alright, casting their one card in hand. Taking them... oh. Whisper Blood Liturgist. Sack 2 creatures, return target creature card from graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. Well, they cannot kick the Krosan Druid this turn, but I would not be surprised if they still played it, or the Omnivore. Alright. Muldrotha is just a beating here. We'll attack in with Danitha. Chump blocked with the Arcanist. And we'll play our land out main 2 here. Just because if we do top deck into a Quinde, then not that I would be able to at 6, but if we eventually top deck into a Quinde, I want to be able to move one of these Jousting Lances and play him on the same turn. Playing the Krosan Druid kicked, going up to 29. And this will get blocked by a Sapperling. That Krosan Druid Muldrotha combo is, well, it sure is good. At this point, I'm not sure even a top-decked Quinde would get us there. I was really hopeful at the beginning of this match. Alright, here comes the Arcanist. That will be the creature they grab, so they're not going to get the Druid this turn. I may actually let this go through, which sounds crazy, but this might be the last turn where I can draw the Quinde and still have a chance at actually doing something here. So I might just let this hit, and then hope that I can team up the Vicious Offering with the Quinde to deal a pretty decent chunk of damage next turn. Pretty unlikely, but... Are they going to cast a Krosan Druid from their hand? Oh, a Baloth Gorger. Cool. Okay, yeah, we're probably done. Yeah, the Trapper is unfortunately not going to get us there. We're going to call this a day. We're going to go on to game 2. Ooh, that was a beating. I'm not sure I have anything in my sideboard here to deal with this stuff. Like Drudge Sentinel seems acceptable to block whatever is attacking in with that thing, so I guess it's okay. But I'm not sure I actually want to sideboard that in just for that. Like Divest, I would be sideboarding in just to hit the blade thing. Yeah, I don't think I actually change anything. I just run with this deck as is. I would like to play first. And this hand looks just fine. Like this hand a lot. Being able to go Danitha into Quinde just looks very good. Alright. Knight of Dominaria and pass. And we're going to see a Vodalian Arcanist from them. Ooh, Evra. That's exciting. Alright. Do we want to just offer the trade here, I guess? This seems fine to offer the trade, right? I think so. Seems like I got a combat trick waiting here, but they're calling my bluff. That's okay. I'm fine with tossing both of our cards off the field, playing Danitha and Quinde. An identical first 3 turns for me here to last game. Alright, Krosan Druid maybe? No, Tolarian Scholar. Tolarian Scholar is a little unfortunate because even with double strike, Danitha doesn't actually, like, Danitha dies to Tolarian Scholar because it would take her 2 hits. So that's a little sad. Do we want to play Quinde then? We may just want to play Thallid Omnivore. Yeah, I think so. Alright, here my opponent has a 4-mana spell, looks like Baloth Gorger not kicked, so just a 4/4. So again, a pretty scary card there. My opponent curving out very nicely. Alright, we are 1 mana away from Evra, so that's pretty exciting. Alright. We are going to attack with the Thallid Omnivore. Hope to get Baloth Gorger to block it. We will sack Danitha to it, which will seem absolutely absurd. And then play out our second Danitha, if we can. If not, we'll go for Quinde. Can't imagine they block here, though. But they do. So I'm going to use its effect, pay 1, and sack my Danitha. I will play out my second Danitha here. And we'll pass. That may have seemed like a crazy play, just to lose one of those Danithas, even though my opponent, we know they have Eviscerate and stuff like that. But I felt like getting that Baloth Gorger off the field was worthwhile. Alright, so Divination for my opponent. We're going to draw a couple cards, see if they can find anything, which it looks like they presumably did not. Nope, that's their instep. If we get a land here, we can play Evra, and we didn't, but that's still okay. We get to attack in with the Omnivore. We do not get to attack in with the Danitha. Goes unblocked. And I could play out Quinde, or I could just put the Banalish Honor Guard on the field. I think Quinde's probably just a decent bit better here. Like, obviously, he's a better card. Just trying to think of if it's worthwhile at all for almost like surprise value kind of thing on the opponent, to be able to play it and smash in with Danitha a little bit bigger than usual. Because the problem is now, obviously he's not going to attack with the Scholar because I can just double block, but I can't attack with these guys without one of them dying. We are going to get a kicked Grow from the Ashes here, which is very scary knowing they have Blackboard Reforged in their deck. Definitely puts it within range of playing it and equipping it very soon. Here, this is probably the... Oh no, Skittering Surveyor. I fully expected those 3 mana to go to his equipment, but it did not, so that is okay. My Banalish Honor Guard, when I play it, is actually going to be a 4-2, so that's not bad. Ooh, but there is my plane, so I get to play Evra, and I'm very excited about that. I am going to start off by just attacking in with this Omnivore, and then I will play Evra post-combat. I don't really see them double blocking, and they chose not to block at all, so that is okay. Alright. Let's hope that she is able to stick around and does not get eviscerated. It definitely would be worth them holding up Eviscerate. You know, if I attack in with her, you know, it looks like they're not going to do anything, and then I pay the 4 mana to switch our totals, and then they eviscerate after I already have gone to 4 life. That would be pretty devastating. But the Muldrotha here feels perfectly fine. I'm not worried about that, because now they're just going to get to play the Arcanist. Unless they're like, yeah, there's the Arcanist. I feel confident this is going to be able to swing over for 20 damage next turn. So, except it does not have flying. I thought this thing had flying. It doesn't. Ugh. Okay. I think I just thought it had flying because it looks like, you know, it's like a spirit thing. It looks like it's in the air. But Pegasus Courser definitely gives it the ability to have flying, so there is that. So I could play the Pegasus Courser and the Honor Guard this turn, and just win next turn unless they have something crazy. And I think I just have to hope to do that. Because I don't think attacking... Like, I could attack with the Evra and go to like 40 life this turn. Or I guess I would only go to 24 life, but she'd be a 20-20. Which would be amazing, but I feel like being able to just swing in the air with the Pegasus Courser next turn is a little bit better. Alright. We will not be attacking, we will pass. We will really hope to see them tap out of their black mana here. Best case scenario is actually probably just kicking Baloth Gorger. This is probably Eviscerate on my Evra, unfortunately. Or not. Looks like they're untapping things here. They still have both their swamps tapped, which has me... Oh well. They're moving back on all of it, it looks like. Yeah, they're going back to just tapping one swamp. Very likely to either bluff on Eviscerate or, you know, actually because they have it. Okay, so they are going to target presumably me. Well, no, definitely them because they have Muldrotha. If they mill this Eviscerate, I'll be quite happy. Because in all likelihood, they only have one of those. But in all likelihood, I should only have one Danitha and Quinde. But we just saw a bunch of lands and a Thallid Omnivore. Okay, so they're passing. If Eviscerate is one of their 2 cards, I'm in a rough spot, but that's going to have to be life. So I will enter combat. I shouldn't have played that land from my hand just because it shows my hand is empty now. Like I could send Danitha in the air, but this is how I want to win the game, let's be honest. Alright. If they play Eviscerate in response to this, I am ruined. But we're going to try it. Okay. They didn't have it. We ended up winning in the air. I feel like this is fine. Chainer's Torment actually feels like it might be pretty decent in this deck. So I think I'm going to swap that for something here. I'll swap it for the... flying seems pretty good against them. I'll swap it for this Dub. I feel like that's the weakest card in my deck, and the Torment looks good because it can make just giant creatures. I've had good luck with lifelink in these games. Alright, so match 3 here, the deciding match with no lands in hand, so this is a mull. And 2 lands in hand, not the ones I would like at all, but I think I'm gonna have to keep it. And I have to bottom that, sadly, because I need a plains. Okay, turn 1 Llanowar Elves is not what I'm wanting to see. Okay, so there's my plains. That is a good sign. It makes me wish a little bit I would have kept that Danitha, just because I still would have gotten to play her on turn 3, but that is not something I would have known, and it was definitely the right play to keep looking for this plains. Okay, Yavimaya Shepherd. That is a nasty card on turn 2. Alright, now I can play Board the Weatherlight here or Knight of New Benalia, and I think it's got to be safer just to play the Knight. I will be curving into Juggernaut, so that is kind of exciting. Juggernaut with Jousting Lance on it sure is something to watch out for there. I am actually going to block this. I'm trading up on my cards, and I feel like it's just the right call, being able to knock out that. And they're tapping out here for 4 mana Blood Liturgist, and that's a nice little combo there. Yeah, that is good. Okay, so there's the Trapper. That's not bad. I'll play the Trapper into next turn the Juggernaut, and then I'll actually activate the Trapper. And then I still have the Lance in hand as a historic card, Board the Weatherlight to kind of dig for another 1/2. Alright, they are passing their turn. I'll play the Juggernaut, and then I'm going to tap down their Whisper. And I will attack with the Trapper here. Like, I know they can double block, but I feel like that a 2-for-1 here is fine. They very well may have like a fungal infection in their hand and be able to trade this off with a Saproling, which will feel a little bad, but it's fine to take that risk. They are going to double block, so I'll get both of their creatures for the price of my Trapper, which I know is only about a card and a half, but it's good to get that Llanowar Elves off the battlefield, takes them down to mana. It's also important to notice they don't yet have any, well, now they do. I was going to say they don't have any sources of blue mana on the field, but there is one. Humrid Explorer coming in, probably going to be milling themselves. Hopefully we see Muldrotha go to the graveyard. That would be a nice, pretty sight. We don't. A Broken Bond, Primordial Worm, Llanowar Elves. Okay. Broken Bond is fine, because that would have dealt with our Juggernaut quite handily. Okay, Pegasus Courser. Now that is a card here. Because I could play the Jousting Lance, and actually the Jousting Lance might be the right call, just to make sure that it can't get killed, but playing Pegasus Courser just seems so exciting, letting the Juggernaut fly. But I think I have to play the Jousting Lance first to make sure this doesn't just trade with a Homerid Explorer, because that would be very bad. I'll be able to play the Courser next turn, and then the turn after that start getting a flying Juggernaut if it is still around, hopefully. Curious if they're going to chump here or not. Because one thing to consider is that if they don't chump, which they are, but or it looks like they are going to be, they could play another creature next turn and then use Whisper to sack the two of them whenever it chumps next turn on the Juggernaut to grab back a Primordial Worm. Just seems like it could be kind of nice. Or the Whisper is actually going to sacrifice herself with the Homerid Explorer. I did not cross my mind that she could sacrifice herself. But yeah, the Primordial Worm is going to come into the field. So that is going to be good. The Juggernaut can still deal with it, mind you. But that is going to be a card to watch out for here. Because they're going to be able to swing in for 7 here, and then they're going to be able to swing in for 7 next turn unless I chump block with the Courser, which I don't really want to do, but I may be forced to do. Alright, here's a Academy Drake. Alright, Lingering Phantom, which I do not have the mana for here. I think I play Board the Weatherlight first, just to look for a Danitha or something to that effect. And then I will follow that up with the Courser if I don't find something better. And I whiffed again. That is embarrassing, but I'm happy to get that group of cards on the bottom of my library, I suppose. So I am I'm going to attack with the Juggernaut here, presumably take out their Drake unless they want to hold it up for attacks. And they do. And now I'll play the Pegasus Courser. The Pegasus Courser will be able to block the Drake very nicely. And if they attack in here, which they are, I could look at chumping this, or I could look at just going to 6. Because the Academy Drake is going to chump block the Juggernaut next turn unless I top deck like Vicious Offering or something. And then I'd be wide open to lose on the next turn. Yeah, because I wouldn't be able to attack with the Pegasus Courser next turn. So I just chump with the Courser here. Because if I attacked him with them both, and I don't find another land or creature, then I'm just dead to another attack by the worm. Alright, so I did find a creature, so not worst case scenario. I'm going to get to swing in with this and have a chump blocker for the worm. And they're just going to take it here. They're going to go to 6 themselves. Definitely potential. No, there's not. I was thinking if I should have attached that Jousting Lance to the Honor Guard, but I did not need to do anything like that. I'm going to remain in chump blocking mode with this worm, just because I don't want to get too low, and I don't want to leave myself wide open for a crazy attack when I'm at a pretty low health total, knowing they have some pretty big bombs in their deck. Like, we're going to see, what, Krosan Druid here? Nope, another Baloth Gorger, which is a 7/7, which is not big enough for the Juggernaut, but it is pretty darn good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and attack with it. And I'll play the Danitha, which, if I could equip the Jousting Lance to, I would, just to get that extra little bit of lifelink here. But at this point, it's just going to have to chump block, gain me 2 life, and then I'll take 7, losing 5 in total. Quinde is definitely a draw that would do me some good here. Muldrotha is definitely what I don't want to see, or Eviscerate is what I don't want to see out of my opponent. Thallid Omnivore is actually pretty bad too. Surprised they did not attack in with both there. I guess they want to be able to double block the Juggernaut and kill it. Almost makes me wish I would have kept the Danitha around. I am going to be able to play that Lingering Phantom here, though. Yeah, so they're putting both here. The right call, I'm sure, is just to kill the Primordial Worm. Obviously, it's a lot bigger. Yep. Alright, and now we will be able to put this Lingering Phantom on the field. And I forgot to play my land here. But we'll be able to get this Phantom on the field, equip it with the Jousting Lance on the next turn, and I don't know, we'll see what we draw to find out whether or not we're actually going to be attacking with it. We're pretty close here. My opponent playing Divination to get into 2 new cards, because they are quite low on resources in hand. We're both kind of top decking at this point. And a Skittering Surveyor. So they played a land, played the Skittering Surveyor. They're back down to 0, so whatever they grab with this Surveyor is going to be their only card in hand. Definitely worth noting. I'm sure they attack in here with both. And I have to put this in front of the Omnivore. I know they're going to sack the Surveyor to it, but hopefully they won't sack the Gorger to it. So we should be able to trade here pretty much regardless. Actually, the right call there may have been not to block at all. Well, Vicious Offering is not the worst card I could see, but it is definitely too little too late. I have one more turn to draw into something that will keep me alive. Take the 7, go to 1. Alright, and that is very likely going to be enough to do it. Well, I can play out both of these this turn. And hold up the Vicious Offering to deal with something else. The Arcanist, obviously. So I'll be able to put the Omnivore in front of the Gorger, Vicious Offering the Arcanist to death by sacking the Omnivore. Alright, Spore Crown Thallid. Alright, and that is just a Knight of New Benalia, so either one of these guys coming in will lose me the game, or both these guys attacking in, either one getting through will lose. So that is it. That was a long, hard-fought match. Unfortunately, we lost that, but that was a close one. So, 0-1 to start, but hopefully we'll be able to pick up these next two games. So I'll see you guys in round 2. Alright guys, here we are for round 2 in our Dominaria draft. We are not on the play here, and looking at our hand, this seems... I don't know, I'd really like to find another land, which we are on the draw. But going Danitha into Dub actually seems pretty cool, or, you know... all these cards in my hand are solid cards. I'm gonna take a chance and keep this, hoping I find that at least one more land here, knowing I don't actually have any second turn plays. Not that I would have any first turn plays, because I don't think I have any 1-drops in this deck. But I did find a play for next turn in the Benalia Honor Guard. Now I just need to get a land in one of my next 2 draws. Alright, there's an Arcanist. Okay, there we go, perfect. So we will play this Honor Guard, and then we are just going to run in through Danitha. We may play Dub on her on turn 4, depending on what the board looks like. We may just play out the Juggernaut or something like that, I'm not sure. Alright, so... Yep, we are just going to be playing Danitha here. We will pass our turn. I could attack him with the Honor Guard because it would kill either of my opponent's creatures, but I feel like trading with the Drudge Sentinel is just a bad trade to make. Pretty low value trade there. Alright, so a Homerid Explorer, milling the top couple cards for me. Ooh, both of my Quindays. That is unfortunate, because that would have been a pretty insane draw with what I got out right now. Okay, Vicious Offering is not bad. So what I could do here is I could play the Dub on Danitha, attack in, and then use Vicious Offering if it looks like there's going to be any, you know, blocks that aren't good. You know, if they choose to double block a couple things or something. I think they would actually... I don't think there's a way for them to multi-block Danitha with Dub on her that actually does anything, though. There is reason to think maybe I play Juggernaut and then I use the dub on it, just to make it a 7/5 attacker. But with Danitha giving me the lifelink, having the vigilance, I think that's just a higher upside play. And then I can hold up the Vicious Offering. Alright, we'll go ahead and go into attacks. Our opponent choosing not to block here, unsurprisingly. Opponent playing a Memorial to Genius. Now, as I'm sure you guys know, these cards have actually turned out to be pretty dang good, other than the red one. But these Memorials, I know people, when they first came out, from what I had read, people were just kind of on them. They thought maybe one of them was okay. But, I mean, 4 out of the 5 in that cycle have honestly looked pretty solid. And my opponent cracking in Divination here, looking for some answers, it seems. Alright. I know it would be an effective use of my mana to activate the Vicious Offering here, but I feel like I just don't actually have any reason to do that. Board the Weatherlight is interesting, but I have lost several of my legends. One other legend I could find would be another Danitha, and that would be bad. I have Juggernaut in my hand. I'm not actually sure what else I have, other, I guess, Jousting Lances. But I've whiffed on this enough last round. I don't want to really do that again. I honestly regret mainboarding this card. We're just going to go into combat here. As long as combat goes fine, I'm probably going to play the Juggernaut or the Deathbloom Thallid post-combat. I can't imagine there's any reason I'll have to Vicious Offering here in combat. Alright, it goes through. And we'll play the Juggernaut. And pass. Oh, our opponent tapping out for an Icy Manipulator. That is rough. Luckily, I do have 2 kind of threats on the board here. But geez, Icy Manipulator is just an absolute beating. And they're going to be able to tap down something this turn as well, because they have the extra mana up. That is a strong, strong card. Alright, a Plains is not a great draw here, because if I can't play both the Thallid and the Offering just because I don't have enough black mana, I'll be able to play the Weatherlight, I guess, and the Thallid just to use up my mana. But, yeah, not an ideal draw. I'll go ahead and go into combat. I'll see what they tap down. The Danitha. That makes sense. We'll attack him with the Juggernaut. Now, I do anticipate the Homerid Explorer stepping in the way of it. And if I want to keep that around, I could Vicious Offering this Explorer. and I'm trying to decide if it's worth it. I actually think it is. Yeah, this might be crazy, but I am going to choose to Vicious Offering the Explorer. Keep my Juggernaut around, because I feel like if I can find a Jousting Lance or something like that with this board, the Weatherlight, that's just going to be strong enough to really swing things in my favor even through this Icy Manipulator. So the Juggernaut could be a very valuable card to have on the battlefield. Play this, hope I find something. Nope, that is another whiff. And we'll pass. Yeah, this is just looking embarrassing for main decking it. I really thought I had enough hits, but that is seemingly not true at all. My opponent tapping out for Eviscerate mana here, maybe? I'm not sure. No, they just unpaid for everything. Oh, they're cracking their Memorial to Genius. Okay. Still having up that swamp to use the Icy Manipulator on something, of course. This is actually a card I have never gotten to draft in this set. I have not done a ton of drafts of it, so, you know, it's not like I've drafted 30 times and just never seen an Icy Manipulator, but it's a card I've always wanted to, just because it really is just so strong. Alright, a Plains, that's going to let me actually play the Lingering Phantom here, which seems good. I will go to combat first, though. You know, this Honor Guard's not doing a lot for me, so I actually think I am going to attack with it, and I'm also very shocked they did not tap down my Danitha. Why would they not tap down my Danitha? Because at this point it's just too late. I guess they have something else they want to play? Nope, they just conceded. I think that just had to have been a misplay from them there. And then they just conceded the match. So that is unusual. Well, I mean, I guess we'll take the round win. Not to say I necessarily deserved that one yet. But yeah, they just conceded the entire match there. I don't know if they just forgot to play the Icy Manipulator or misclicked or something, and then they just rage quit the whole thing. I'm not sure. Kind of odd. But we'll go into round 3. See you guys then. Alright, so here we are for round 3 of our draft league. We are currently 1-1. We are fighting for 2-1. We are going to be on the draw in this match, waiting to see our opening hand. And our opening hand does not look great. I mean, I have a bomb in Evra, but we've seen how bad board the Weatherlight is. I do get to play Knight of Dominaria, but I don't have the lands to play my 4 and 5 drop there. I have a 6 drop. I'm completely missing the 3 and 4 slot. I think I'm going to mull this. And this hand is looking significantly better, so I will be keeping it. Danitha being on the top looks fantastic. I already have the 3 lands I want to cast her with. I have a dub. We saw last game that those work pretty well together. Like, I don't actually think dub is a good card, but for the purposes of attaching it to a Danitha, it did its job pretty well. Alright, looks like our opponent is on white-red. Board the Weatherlight for them. Let's see if they whiff like I have been. No, they find a Lyra, so that is absolutely terrifying. Oh, cool. Alright, that doesn't make me feel good about life. Let's hope they are... I don't know, our chance at this point is like they get mana screwed or we die to Lyra, probably. That was not the card I was expecting them to find with Board the Weatherlight. Alright, there's a Sergeant at Arms. That is a card that blocks very well. We will play out our Danitha here. Make the Honor Guard small or bigger. And then we'll attack into it and offer a trade for the Sergeant at Arms. Alright, I'm fine with that. Alright, that is a Keldon Raider. Another very strong card. But putting Dub on Danitha is actually going to be able to power through that a bit here. Discarding a Plains to draw something else. So that means they have plenty of lands. They will be bringing Lyra down next turn. Oh, we do have Evra. That is a card that could get us back into things. Vicious Offering is also a card I would very much like to see off the top of my deck. Opting to play another Keldon Raider instead of the Lyra here, that is shocking. But the second Keldon Raider does shut down my Danitha pretty well. Pegasus Courser is... well, I would say it was not an awful draw if I didn't know Lyra was in their hand. I still think I go ahead and play it, though. Now, if I attack with Danitha, I'm sure they just double block. And if they double block... yeah, I can't attack with Danitha here. Like, with as bad as the situation looks for me, knowing Lyra's coming down next turn, it's possible I just try to bluff that attack, holding up the mana for Vicious Offering. You know, I attack in and make it look like I have that trick. I can kill them both with my 4 first strike damage, or, you know, I have something else going on. But in reality, they probably just call my bluff there. Alright, not wonderful, because I can't attack in with either of these guys. So I'm just going to play out the Trapper and the Knight of Dominaria. If I had a historic spell to tap something down with that Trapper, it would be a lot better for me here. Alright, and kicked Keldon Overseer, so that is bad for me. This is going to be a pretty huge swing. Now, I can put this knight in front of one of the Keldon Raiders. That seems reasonable. They're going to gain 9 life here. I'm going to lose a ton of life. I could put the Trapper in front of a Keldon Raider, because it's not looking like the Trapper is going to do a whole lot for me at this point. I could put the Courser in front of the Keldon Overseer. They just get in for 9 damage. Hopefully I'm able to drop Evra and turn things around a bit, but I think I want to keep the Courser for Evra. Actually, it might not just matter if being able to flip the power toughness thing. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Try to trade off a lot of their board here. I'm not sure that was actually a good attack for them. Yeah, because now I'm going to get to play this Evra. I'm going to be able to attack in for 4, gain 4. Now let's just hope they don't have like a Shivan Fire or a Fiery Intervention or something to deal with this Evra. They only have 1 card in hand, and it's a Banalish Honor Guard, so that makes me feel a lot better about life, knowing that even though they're not tapped out, they have no cards in hand, so it's seemingly safe to just smash in with the Evra here. Yeah, that seems good. Alright, so I do not want to attack in with Danitha. This Evra actually could bring me back. Oh, crap. Evra gives... Oh, no. I am going to... Okay, so that was bad. That just lost me that match. That was embarrassing. That's okay. Alright, so looking into game 2, let's cut this board the Weatherlight. I don't think that's good. And then I'm going to add in this Chainer's Torment. Just because I don't think that's a bad card, honestly. And we will move on to game 2. And I would like to play first. This hand doesn't look great, but it's not awful, so I think I will keep it. Cannot believe I made that mistake with the Evra. That is embarrassing. But I need to read that card a little bit better than I did, that is for sure. So that's definitely a reason I should have kept around that Pegasus Courser. No, because the Angel had flying too, so I just wasn't ever going to get in anywhere with that Angel being on the field. I would have had to have drawn into my my Vicious Offering here to get around it no matter what, I think. Danitha is not bad. I shall play Danitha. Unfortunately, next turn I cannot play Dub on her and equip the Jousting Lands, but that's okay. Bloodstone Goblin from my opponent. There's Evra again. Let's not make the same mistake with her this time. Alright. I think I just want to put the Jousting Lance on her. Yeah, I think so. Alright, they're going to equip their Jousting Lance to the Goblin, which luckily I will be able to just, well, actually, I'm not going to block. That seems bad. But I could Vicious Offering it if I needed to, but I don't think that's something I want to do at the moment. I mean, I could just play Dub on Danitha, make her even bigger. But I always worry about something like that just getting blown out if this is just a Sheevan Fire even, right? So I think my plan this turn is to play the Trapper. Next turn I'll be able to play Dub and Vicious Offering. Presumably I actually might just play the Dub on the Trapper. I know it'll be a little less lifelink getting in, but 2 first strike creatures with 4 to 5 damage seems pretty good. Another Trapper itself. So yeah, I definitely think I'm going to put the Dub on the Trapper. Alright, there is a 5th mana. That's good. Getting closer to Evra. Alright, let's do this. And then let's attack. Alright, so they're seemingly chumping their Trapper to mine, and then they're thinking better of it. Alright. Making sure I'm not missing something here. Okay, so this is where I will Vicious Offering their Trapper, just to make sure it does not kill my Danitha. Even though I have another Danitha in hand, I don't want to lose the Jousting Lance attached to it, and I think this is just a good opportunity to keep my Danitha alive. I get to 2 for 1 of them with that Vicious Offering, and I think that's worthwhile. Alright, there's a Sergeant at Arms, which is fine. Just with my board state, that is perfectly okay. Alright, so now the Bloodstone Goblin is going to present a threat. It can kill one of these guys if it wants to. Truth be told, that's not a huge deal, because it's probably going to choose to kill the Danitha, and I will be able to just play out another Danitha after that. The better call for them is actually to block my Trapper here, but ooh, double blocking. That's something. Yeah, I don't have a way to, work that in my favor or anything. But I will kill the Goblin instead of the Sergeant-at-Arms, just primarily because they will have to reinvest the mana to equip the Jousting Lance. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything with the attacks. Yeah, that's fine. How did my Danitha Oh, this only gets it when it's attacking. That's why they had to double block. Okay, yeah, so I missed that completely. So they're still going to get to kill it because of the Sergeant-at-Arms. I forgot Jousting Lance only gives you the extra power when it's attacking. Alright, so I could play Banalish Honor Guard here and then attach Jousting Lance to it right away. And play Danitha next turn, but I think I would rather just play out both of these. Well, maybe it would have been a good idea to play that Danitha next turn with getting the Trapper trigger. But this way I can actually play Evra if I draw into a land next turn as well. Alright, there's a Board the Weatherlight. Hopefully they don't find a Lyra this time. And if they do, I actually think they're a little stuck on land. Now, Jaya's Immolating Inferno is absolutely terrifying, but it's worth noting they can't actually cast it right now. But dang, that is good. But right now that X is also 2, which granted, that kills 2 of my creatures. But it looks like they've probably seen enough here, see the writing on the wall, and we are going to go to game 3. I think my deck is fine like it is. Maybe there's a reason I would want to bring in the charge here, but I think it'll be okay. I think everything is good. And this is not a hand I want to keep. This is not a pretty hand at all. So my opponent on a mull, as am I. This is still not an amazing hand, but a hand I will be keeping. And this is, as crazy as it seems, actually a decent card for me here. I have the mana to play it. It's an early drop creature. I don't have anything else going on turn 2. So I'm perfectly fine keeping a generic vanilla 3/1. Alright, and they have their own Knight of New Benalia. Dark Bargain is not bad. If I can draw into another land, that will be a solid play here. Just to dig around for some of my more impactful cards that I don't have yet. With the Quinde in hand, I'm very incentivized to find the Jousting Lances, the Danithas, something like that. Now I can trade these, and I actually think I will. Sure. Because I have plays for my next couple turns that I feel like are a little bit higher value than their turn 3 play here with the Goblin. So hopefully that's just a step in the right direction of tempo for me. Play the Trapper. The Quinde next turn will let me tap down something. Alright, Champion of Flame. That can be very scary. Alright, and there's aboard the Weatherlight. Let's see what they find. A Jousting Lance. Okay, so that Jousting Lance is going to make Champion of the Flame pretty big, pretty quick here. Alright, Deathbloom Thallid, Dark Bargain, and Quinde. Trying to decide if it's better to play Dark Bargain, just try to dig a little deeper in my deck, find something, you know, really nicer. You know, honestly, Vicious Offering at this point is just what I really need, because that Champion of the Flame is going to get pretty out of control with cards like this Jousting Lance. I don't think so. I think I just keep going with the tempo plays. I'll use this, tap down the Goblin, and then I'll just swing in. I'd love to see them block. I've been honestly quite happy with my deck so far. I've been more impressed with it than I expected to be. I do feel like if I would have picked up a little bit more removal, like 2 more cards of removal, I would be in a significantly better spot than I am. But that's life. Alright, now unfortunately with him having first strike, I can't actually block with the Quinde, because the Quinde would die before his double strike actually kicked in. Alright. So I definitely attack with the Quinde here. And then I can put out the Deathbloom Thallid just to be a chump blocker for the time being. Or I can be willing to take another 5 and play Dark Bargain. Try to find an answer. That actually might be the right play. Yeah, I think I'm going to play Dark Bargain. I just need to find something in my deck at the moment. I'm going to play this now. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I know which 2 I'm going to be taking. So that looks good. And now I do not want to block with the Trapper because I'm going to get a lot of tap triggers out of it. Okay. Truth be told, a land there would have been fantastic. But let's see. I could play the Danitha here. Or I could play the Windgrace Acolyte. The Acolyte is reasonable just because it lets me gain a couple life, and it's a good blocker for the Champion of the Flame. But if I play Danitha, I can tap down the goblins, swing in for 7 on them, presuming they don't have a removal spell, and then use the Danitha to chump block. Next turn, just keep playing out chump blockers for their champion until hopefully I can get somewhere. Yeah, I don't think the Danitha's doing a lot for me in hand, as is. So I'm just going to try to race them here, I think. Alright. Would have felt better if I had one extra land, been able to play out that Thallid as well. But that's okay. Yeah, if they're able to burn out my Danitha, I'm in a pretty bad spot. Okay, so they're just attacking with the champion. I am going to be blocking here. I'll gain a couple life back just because we do both have first strike. I did forget he has trample though. That's scary. But I only net took 1 damage there. But I did definitely forget he has trample. Alright. Playing the Windgrace Acolyte might be my best call, because this is just going to lose me 3 life. The Windgrace Acolyte at least gains me 3, and then it will also, lose me 3, so I'll be staying steady with where I'm at. I could play both the Benalish and the Thallid. That only loses me 1, but I think the Acolyte's just the right call here. We'll go ahead and enter combat. Could attack with both of these. I think I will. Force one of them through. I'm sure they're going to block the Trapper here, but that gets through for 4 with the Quinde. No, they're going to choose to block the Quinde. Only take 3, go into 3. Okay. Feel like it's possible when I'm in a okay spot. I hope I'm in an okay spot. And I milled 3 lands. Don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have seen a land next turn. But that's okay, I still have plenty of gas in my hand here. Alright, so they're playing something. A kicked Sergeant-at-Arms. That is not good. But realistically, if they attack here, I just let it go through and I swing with Windgrace Acolyte in the air. Hope that can get me through for the last couple damage. Yeah, they saw that, so we ended up getting that game. So we went 2-1 in this league, not bad. I would have loved to have seen that first game go a little differently with the Muldrotha, but man, that was a crazy game, just all in all. So I'm glad that my Evra misplay didn't lose me this match, didn't cost me this match. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this draft league, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.